R-Type Delta HD Boosted for the Switch is the first R-Type game I've put serious effort into, and I still had a lot of trouble clearing it on normal with the R9 chip. Now I would not say it's an overly difficult game, but I feel it's very unforgiving, requiring extensive routing and consistent execution. Apparently the latter is not my forte, and I have thus spent way too much time working on easier and more consistent routes. So in this video I'll go over what I learned and provide a full guide on how to clear R-Type Delta based on footage of my own 1cc no bomb run and providing alternative strategies for specific sections. I'll assume you'll have at least played the game to be somewhat familiar with the core gameplay mechanics. And before anyone asks, yes, the game is called HD Boosted for a reason, but I actually preferred playing with the original low-res PS1 graphics. Now let's get started. Stage 1 is nothing too crazy and gets pretty easy once you've played it a few times. It's the ideal stage to get familiar with the series' signature force pod. It's completely indestructible, absorbs most enemy fire, damages enemies on contact and even insta-kills the smaller enemies. Proper use and placement of it removes a lot of the need for dodging and even firing, as I demonstrate here. After grabbing the weapon upgrade and killing this falling enemy, place your force pod in front of this enemy ship bay. After 8 explosions, take out the bay itself. Next I'm going to park the force pod against this train section to quickly fill the dose or bomb meter. If you position it high enough, nothing will touch you as the damage radius of the force pod is larger than its sprite, which you can visually see as it starts glowing if it does damage. Bounce the lasers off the floor to try and hit the enemies appearing at the top, and keep an eye out for the shots and be ready to evade or absorb them. Grab another upgrade and attach your pod to the back of your ship and get up close to the mid-boss. A few laser shots take care of the first 2 turrets, then shoot your force pod out and just focus on dodging now, as the force pod will take care of the rest. When the dose meter is at 100%, the contact damage and damage radius of the force pod increases, plus you get a score bonus. You can also use your Delta weapon now, which is essentially a screen clearing bomb that lasts for roughly 4 seconds, but that will drain your entire dose meter, so in my opinion it's not worth it. Use your force pod to safely take care of this enemy hiding behind the building and keep it detached to take care of the next wave of enemies. Quickly dock with and move up to the right. This is to ensure your missiles don't shoot the upgrade carrier as it contains the yellow weapon, which pretty much sucks. Move with it to the left and charge your main weapon. Shooting the core of this mechanical snake with 2 charge shots should be enough to take it down. Now we are going to grab our first bit device and charge our weapon again to take out the snake. Don't worry if you don't manage to kill it with 2 charge shots. It will start circling you, giving you plenty of time to shoot its core with regular fire, as I show here. As we are approaching the stage 1 boss, grab the red weapon and start charging it. Hit the boss with your charge shot and shoot the force pod in between its exhausts. Focus on not getting hit and let the force pod destroy the exhausts. As soon as that happens, start charging again and recall your force pod. Hit the center with your charge shot, shoot out your force pod and move downward to not get hit by the big laser. And that was it for stage 1. I forgot to mention that those bit devices are insanely useful in terms of defense, as they are again indestructible, block incoming fire and insta-kill weaker enemies. Nice and easy start of the level. Just hang back left and use your charge shot to quickly dispatch the big fish. The next section has these pods on the ground that shoot a trail of eggs, I guess, that linger on the screen and block a large part of the screen. To prevent this, shoot out your force pod into them. After the second is defeated, dock your force pod to the back and let it take out the enemies on the left. Start charging to take out the third and last one. With enemies coming from the left and right, I like to keep the force pod detached behind me and just focus on the right side of the screen. Grab the blue laser weapon upgrade and we come to one of the coolest sections in the game, and for me the first really difficult section. There are multiple ways to approach this, but I'll first show my preferred one. I stay mostly to the left with the force pod docked at my back, using it to take out turrets on the left and using charge shots to take out turrets on the right. Again, do not pick up the yellow weapon. Use the falling block to bounce off lasers to take out the turrets below you. Sneak in between to take out the remaining turrets on the right. The remaining turrets and enemies are now all on your left and pose no threat, as your force pod will block all enemy fire. Now here's an alternative strategy. With your force pod free and up front, none of these fish will get through. For these beehive-like things, your force pod's contact damage will make short work of them, and the same holds for the bees. Dock the pod at your back to safely go back into the water again. The next section can be quite tricky, and I see most people just using their delta weapon / bomb here. But my strat is to use the top bit device and bounce laser off of this edge to create enough space to shoot the force pod into the top left. As the force pod is damaging the bees, all aggro is focused on it, allowing you to move out of the water, grab the second bit device, dock the force pod to the front and use its contact damage to get rid of all the bees and hives. Charge and kill the first two sets of big fish. Move to the right, grab the red weapon and shoot out the force pod. Move to the top and have it dock at your back. Now you can take out all the fish with ease. 4 item carriers will spawn, but we need nothing and want to keep the red weapon. So I have this simple strat to ensure I don't by accident grab a different weapon. For the boss you want to stay a bit to the right to misdirect the bullets, so they are easier to block. Then shoot out the force pod so it gets stuck behind the snail's weak point. Sit back and watch it take care of everything. Now the timing is important here. If you shoot the force pod too soon, you will kill the snail but not the thing in the sky. And if you are too late, the snail will not die and move towards you. After you kill the boss, ensure the force pod is attached to the back of your ship. Stage 3 starts with an epic introduction of the main enemy you will be facing. Block incoming fire with the force pod and destroy the main gun with regular fire. Watch out for the two enemies at the bottom shooting missiles in an arc. I find stage 3 to be the most tedious stage in the game. It's very slow without much to do for the most part, so it feels like it drags on for too long. After killing these 3 enemies, start charging and prepare to move underneath the foot. Take out this laser disc before it has a chance to fire. Hug the bottom and let the big turret move further to the right before moving in to take it out. I then destroy the leg armor on the left. Increase ship speed to 3 and wait for the enemies on the left side of the walker to appear. Then quickly moving under the foot and enemies before taking them out. This looks dangerous, but I find it to be quite reliable if destroying the leg armor first. Alternatively, you can shoot your pod underneath the foot one cycle earlier to take out the enemies. Or shoot out your pod while moving underneath the foot. Now reduce speed back to level 2 and back up to the left side of the screen. With the force pod docked to the front and a bit device at the top, you are invulnerable from these missiles falling down. So ignore them and take out the launcher base. For these spinning turrets, your force pod can absorb their fire and deal contact damage. These fast bullet spreads cannot be blocked with your force pod, so evade them. Pay attention to the red lines that telegraph where the lasers will hit, and stay either completely below them or between the two bottom ones. Once this part is destroyed, recall the force pod and move downwards towards the core, until the force pod starts glowing, indicating it's doing damage. The core should be destroyed before the red laser sight hits you. If you fail to destroy it in time, switch your speed to level 3 to dodge the massive energy beam that is triggered by tripping the red laser. Stage 4 is essentially one big vertical climb and is pretty awesome. A somewhat easy stage once you get familiar with the enemy spawns and know when to start charging your main weapon. You'll be facing a lot of these purple flying enemies that are the easiest to take out with a fully charged shot. But be careful, as their shots are hard to see within the trails of your charge shot, so you often run into them by accident when moving up or down. For this next section, use your bit devices, your force pod and missiles to take out most of this debris, while charging your main weapons for 2 waves of purple flyers. Use the sound cue of the lasers of the big ship to know when to move out of the way. Hug the left wall to not run into this soul enemy. I just want to point out some of the charm this game has with its presentation. Recall how that big ship just exploded in a somewhat plain manner. Now watch what happens when you kill it with the impact of a level 1 force pod. That is just so cool. Take out the enemy spawner, shoot out the force pod and dock it at the back. Use it to block enemy fire and focus on killing the 3 enemies that will come from the right. Move between the wall and the big ship and move downwards along with it. As soon as it's destroyed, try and take out these turrets and enemy spawner. Use the sound cue of the big ship's laser to move next to it and move alongside it towards the wall. Get the force pod to your front and start charging for 3 more incoming waves of purple flyers. Don't go for that weapon carrier on the top right, as you will be in a pretty bad position when these mechs appear. Also, we don't really need it. And that is even more true for this next weapon carrier. You won't have time for full charge here, so just use a basic charge and some regular shots. Watch out for any missiles they might launch at you. Now we get to the most awesome part of this stage that will definitely kill you without a proper route. And I had a blast coming up with mine that I feel is a lot simpler and more consistent than those I've seen other players use. So let's go through it step by step. Keep the force pod docked at your back. Make sure to take out the turrets and enemy spawners at both sides. Then move right and stay next to this background block that will move into the screen. Misdirect this turret before moving to the very top of the screen, directly above this block. Keep shooting and grab the blue weapon as soon as possible, then immediately move to the right. Stay just above this block and kill this blue mech. More blocks with turrets on them will move into the screen. As long as you are right next to this block, you are safe. If you are above this block, you will get sniped. Note that we've let ourselves get walled off in this corner, as this avoids having to deal with this entire center area. Now move here and use this block to bounce off your laser shots to quickly kill the blue mech. Dodge the turret fire and take out the 2 turrets on the right. Keep firing to take out the blue mech that spawns in below. Then quickly move onto this block and take out this other blue mech. This might be a bit tricky, but I like to stay at the very top here until this block with the 2 turrets moves into the screen. Moving downwards to not get sniped, take out the turrets and ignore the blue mech that is moving towards you, as he will move upwards. Quickly follow him upwards and stay clear of the mech moving downwards. Just stay stuck to the ground here to bounce your lasers upwards to take out the mechs. And that is my route. And I honestly believe it's by far the simplest there is. Now that you understand all the parts, let's look at the entire thing in one go. Hang left and grab the red weapon when it's safe to do, and prepare to face the game's most difficult boss. Nah, it's actually the easiest. Just hang out in his corner with the 4-spot docked at the back. After defeating it, try to quickly get the 4-spot attached to your front in preparation for stage 5. Stage 5 is the most difficult and brutal stage of the entire game. It's also creepy and insanely cool, where you get assaulted by broken and leftover things from the first game. Destroy this canister to give yourself movement space to misdirect the next 2 enemies. Move a bit to the left here to again misdirect these 2 incoming enemies. Kill the first few and move around the rest in a big circle to park yourself in a safe spot in the corner. Take care to not get hit by the falling dead enemies before you reach it. For these worms, always try to take out the head first with a charge shot. Otherwise they will split into 2 and start moving erratically. Note my screen position here, which allows me to absorb all bullets with minimal movement. Alternatively, you can start on the left side and kill both worms with a single charge shot, but the timing is pretty tight. See how I messed up here, as I did not manage to kill off the worm, leading to me also not killing the head of the next worm. This next section is in my opinion the hardest in the game, and one where most of my runs end. It's also a checkpoint, so dying means redoing it without any power-ups. While that can get frustrating, it's such a well-made section that I kept on replaying it anyway. You need to be nimble, so increase ship speed to 3. Make sure to take out these enemies on these tubes, otherwise they will snipe you from behind. There are so many ways to tackle the next part with its rotating tubes, 4-spot at the front or at the back, which rotating pipe to match your movement to and when. It's just awesome, but freaking hard. So I'll show you my preferred route. That is probably not the simplest, but one I settled on as it gave me the most consistent results. After clearing this pipe, shoot out your pod to the top right and immediately recall it. Move backwards to misdirect enemy fire, move down behind them and take them all out. Dock the 4-spot at your back and try to take out the lower enemy pair on the rotating tube. Misdirect the fire from the top enemy pair, then move into the corner to not get hit by the tube. Take out the weapon carrier and prepare to move underneath the tube. Note that using your delta weapon right now could make this part a lot easier. Do kill the 2 enemies on this other tube. There are two sets of enemy debris heading towards the center. I move to the left as I find destroying the right one, and moving to the right not reliable enough, as every few times I would not be able to kill it in time. Now position yourself here to take care of the enemies on the top tube, then move downwards for the enemies on the bottom tube. And we made it through the hardest section of the game. Now let's look at the entire section in real time. This next part looks intense, but it's that simple when you follow my route, where you are mainly trying to use your bit devices to take out the red sections on these worms, allowing you to stay put and damage the big floating thing. Don't move up too quickly here to take out all the worm segments. On to the real boss. Stay up here to avoid the big laser. Take it out and the turrets below and above it. Sneaking below, carefully avoiding the ship and the parts that break off. I said carefully. I got quite angry with myself here, as I never died as this spot before. And this boss is pretty easy. Luckily, we get sent back to a checkpoint that is surprisingly easy to recover from. Just sneak underneath here and it will fall off the screen. And we are almost back at full strength, only lacking the bottom bit device. Now let's try this again. Take out some of the turrets at the top here. As the ship wreckage is rotating around you, they will otherwise start shooting you from above. Use the force pod to block the blue enemy fire and try not to collide with the boss. Pretty straightforward. Now in this guide I'm not focusing on how to do checkpoint recovery after death. I feel not dying should be your main focus, as when fully powered up, the game gets 10 times easier. Mainly due to the defense provided by the bit devices and the force pod. Now on to stage 6. Again, another great stage where the music and enemies create this unsettling atmosphere. At first I found stage 6 to be super intimidating, especially the Meat Zeppelin section. But it's actually not that bad once you get the route down. Plus the first part of the level is rather forgiving compared to the previous stage. A fully charged shot followed by a few regular shots makes quick work of these larger enemies. And sticking to the left side of the screen, your force pod and bit device provide a lot of protection against incoming enemies and enemy fire, though those bouncy fleshy enemies are not insta-killed by them. Here I like to dock the force pod at the back and stay underneath this ledge until all rear enemies are dead. It's a bit tricky, but dock the force pod to the front before moving out and destroy the big enemy. Note we also collected our second bit device and are now fully powered up. I wait underneath this ledge until it scrolls out of the screen and start charging to take out the large enemy that rushes towards you. I stay just below it, where it does not hit me, but otherwise you can move underneath it and attack it from behind. Note that you can park your ship against the edge of a ledge and the screen scroll will push you vertical without crushing you. Now it's time for the Meat Zeppelin that is approaching fast from behind. This part is just so cool, but quite difficult initially. So let's break it down. Let's increase the ship speed and quickly take out this enemy at the top and that one at the bottom. Then position yourself here so the top bit device takes care of the 8 enemies appearing from the top, while your regular fire missiles take care of the enemies in front of you. Quickly move down and kill this enemy and then stay roughly here until this turret is destroyed. Then race to this spot and keep holding backwards to stick to this wall. Let the Zeppelin move underneath and only move once this last falling enemy is destroyed. While waiting in this spot, lower your ship speed back to level 2. Then move with the Zeppelin, staying at the front and low enough that your force pod is damaging it, indicated by its red pulsating glow. Do not move underneath this hole until you have to, and only after defeating one of these bouncy fleshy enemies. At that point, the large enemy on the ceiling should be pretty much dead meat. Wait for this enemy to shoot before moving behind the Zeppelin, as I got sniped by this enemy so many times. Note that when using the blue laser, this enemy and pretty much all other ground-based enemies will have been destroyed by it. Now move behind the Meat Zeppelin. When the missile upgrade is beneath the ceiling hole and this enemy drops down, move with it. Your bit device will kill it and your forward shot will take care of these flying enemies below the Zeppelin. Once they are killed, move back behind the Zeppelin and finish it. Now let's look at this section in real time. Move up and down to take care of the right incoming enemies, until this blue enemy is fully on screen. Then push back against this wall and let the bit devices take care of the enemies from behind and the enemies spawning in below. Stay in the middle here and with slight vertical movement have your bit devices take down the enemies coming from up and below. Align your ship to these two enemies coming from behind, and once those are destroyed, Increase your ship speed to level 3, get to the right side of the screen and dock your pod to the left. For this next section, I like to quickly go to the right side and move up and back to position myself here in this safe spot. Now align your nose of your ship with the top bevel of this container, decrease your ship speed to level 2 and hold back. Now we are in a safe spot where for whatever reason the enemies are unable to shoot at. Once destroyed, start charging and dock the force pod to the front. There are 3 enemy ships coming in, however only the top one matters as it's controlling the other 2. Shoot it with the charge shot, then shoot out your force pod into it and it should be dead. Note the other 2 drone ships are malfunctioning now and fall away. Move the force pod to your back, grab the red power up and increase your ship speed to level 1. It's time to face an old familiar, the Dobceratops. Stay to the left of the center to not collide with the boss spawning in. You want to move into here, using your shots to guide you. It's a really tight fit and it's easy to go too far in and die on collision. So this will require some practice, but it sets you up for a super easy boss fight. Increase your ship speed back to level 2, then shoot out the force pod and keep firing so it can damage the boss's core. After it coughed up enemies 9 times, get ready to move out and dock your pod to the front. I got unlucky here as the pod got stuck in the tail. Now sit in front of it and wait for the gap to shoot the force pod into its mouth. Then move through that same gap to the bottom left corner. Just sit here, keep firing and it will die in no time. Just one more stage to go now. Stage 7. The final stage takes place in the eerie and surreal Bido dimension, where you will fly through remnants of Earth's history and civilization, while being assaulted by crystallized embryos and sperm-like projectiles. It's weird but awesome, and rather easy too until you get to the end. Keep in mind that a force pod and 2-bit devices keep you 100% safe from these sperm projectiles when hugging the side, so there's actually no need to shoot them. careful here to not get hit in the back by this weapon carrier. Start charging and increase ship speed to level 3. Once this ovum cell turns red, start firing, move upwards and shoot out the force pod close to the top of the screen. Move backwards a bit but stay fairly high up to ensure the force pod stays at the top and gets stuck in the enemy. Focus on dodging these enemy balls, where the safe spot is always in the path of the previous energy balls. Once you are forced to move to the right half of the screen, your force pod will come towards you. Dock it at the back and finish off the enemy, then revert your ship speed back to level 2. Time for the final boss. Do not collide with it, as that is an instant death. Now it will take away your force pod and drain your dose meter. It's also indestructible, so you will have to survive long enough for your dose meter to refill to 100%. Then fire off your delta weapon to end the fight. The tricky part here is that you will get assaulted from all sides by these sperm projectiles, while the boss is also slowly bouncing about. I died so many times here at the very end of the run. Anyway, my strategy is to stay somewhat in the center and then make small movements, taking out the enemy projectiles with regular fire and the bit devices. The main danger are the projectiles that come in at a steep angle, as your bit devices won't protect you from those. I'm also always on lookout for a safe path through the enemies to get back to a more central screen position. Fun fact: if you refuse to use your delta weapon / bomb to end the fight, but keep dodging, then the floor and ceiling will start closing in on you until you get crushed. But yeah, that's the end of stage 7 and the game as a whole. So I hope you enjoyed this video and let me know if it helped you or not.